That's right, welcome back here to PEL Phase 2. We're in week 6, we're in day 2, and we're about to get into the thick of things. In our main job, we bring you all the analysis here from PEL, but in our second job, we combat alien scum on the way to coming here. The men in red, yellow, and blue.
Correct.
It's not got quite the ring to it that I was hoping it would, but it's going to sit for now. Gentlemen, how are you doing? You excited for day number 2?
Always excited, right? Especially after Winstrike having such a huge day yesterday as well. It's going to be nice to see if they can keep that up and keep getting some more points.
Always good to see this continue, obviously. Winstrike, as you said yesterday, they had 2 wins. They could have got 3.
Could have got 4.
And also, Reciprocity could have played it a bit better on the shack there towards the end. There was some kind of outstanding moments yesterday in the last game, but
I'll tell you something, if we need to neuralize any moment in this tournament, it was that one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Gemty's going to remember that forever, and now that shack is going to remember it as the Gemty shack, so that's also good.
Well, of course, we've got a few things to be talking about here today. Winstrike was one of them, of course, and we can just kind of elaborate on that a little bit further here, because the start of week 6 was definitely Winstrike's week, beginning at least, with a first, third, that really propelled them up when it came to point accumulation here throughout Phase 2.
Oh yeah, definitely, but let's take a look at the standings here first. At the top, Na'Vi is still the only team over 500 points. And on Border Patrol, as always, TSM right now with a 20-point gap, but they still have a good chunk to get up to FaZe Clan there.
Well, very importantly about that Border Patrol with the 20-point gap that we're seeing there, Martin, that was actually not a 20-point gap coming into this week. It was very close. However,
it was 4, I think.
Yeah, TSM had a decent day yesterday, and Raise Your Edge had one of the worst days they've had in weeks and weeks.
Yeah, they are 16 points only for Raise Your Edge, and obviously TSM 34. So they're going to be extending the lead. Not by a lot. It can still be one good game and they can be jumping in there.
Yeah.
I think still the big story is that Winstrike jumped from somewhere around 10th, 11th up to 7th now, and only being 9 points behind Raise Your Edge.
Does this become Winstrike's mantra? They just suddenly sneak in towards the end of each.
Doing a little bit better than average.
They did the same in Phase 1, honestly, and jumping in, especially in the last week and the last day, they really played extremely well. And now for them to start here in week 6, I would like to see that continue. If they can continue this consistency and continue fragging out like this and playing a bit more aggressive, but maybe also winning a bit more games, that could be a big push for them.
Even if we have 96 games, what I want to see is consistency coming out from the teams. I don't want to see teams having huge peaks, huge dips. I want to be more consistent. We've seen some of the teams. TSM, for example, they had over the week so far 5th, 3rd, 15, 10th, 3rd. It's not consistent enough. Sure, there's really good weeks, the top ones, but then again, you dip down too low on the bad ones.
The same story with Winstrike. The first week was 7, second week 15, third week 11th, and then 4th in the 6th in the 4th week, 13th in last week, and now they're starting off to a really, really good start here with 55 points so far after day 1.
Yes.
If this continues, I mean, 45 points, and they have a 100-point week, which is massive. This is top 3 guaranteed, I would say.
But also, like, let's look at Knights, for example. 11th, 14th, 13th, 5th, 3rd, and 14th.
Yeah.
It's not consistent enough. You see the top teams, they're always being consistent. Let's take a look at Liquid, for example. 6th place, 2nd, 4th, 2nd, 4th, 2nd.
Yeah.
That's super consistent. And that's what we want to see from teams. And that's how you know that the teams are really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. And a team like Na'Vi has been able to solidify themselves at the top with a little bit like almost a 20-point lead over Team Liquid there, to say the least. So it wasn't the most amazing weeks for Na'Vi. Most amazing days for Na'Vi yesterday. 29 points being accumulated across the day. But it wasn't the worst either. We're expecting excellent things from Na'Vi.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been playing enormously good here during the Phase 2. I think they're the biggest surprise in my books, at least, coming in here. Throughout the weeks, 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, and now 5th so far after one day here this weekend.
Sure.
I mean, it's just amazing to see.
The podium placements across the weeks have been of impeccable form, Martin, when it comes to Na'Vi.
Their consistency, if they get all 8 weeks with only top 3 placements from week to week to week, that would be absolutely insane. And I would say that is the form you want to show if you want to win GLL. That's the form that you want to show if you want to win the Phase 2. And obviously they're hungry. The new rosters come together quite nicely since the start even. And I would like to see that happen, honestly. I think they deserve it so far.
Hot on their heels, though, are teams like G2. Of course, we just briefly kind of alluded to Team Liquid there just before. But G2 came off the back of Week 5 after winning the week. We saw their lack of consistency sort of diminish with that. So now they have kind of risen to the occasion. In a contrast to what we saw from Phase 1, where it was a little bit more difficult for them to keep that kind of momentum going. So it's nice to see the win.
I mean, at the same time, though, they've been super consistent as well.
Yeah.
Let's look at the points for the week they've had. 108 first week, 73, 102, 70, 103, and now obviously a little bit less because we're only done one day. But
it's big
I
points.
mean, yeah, their worst weekends have been 70 points. And if you look at the average of TSM over all their points, is 72.
Right. So they've definitely been able to take their spot in the top positions very, very firmly. Here's Team Liquid at the moment, currently sat in second place, about 20 points behind Na'Vi. They're definitely one of the teams, though, across these couple of weeks that can challenge for the #1 spot. And as we continue to get closer and closer to the penultimate week, then the final week, of course, that's going to become a big, big talking point for us. Who is going to actually be the champions of Phase 2? Which we're not talking about too much just yet, of course, because we're not quite there just yet, but we know some big names contenders.
We are 64 points through, and it's still extremely close in the top 4. And I think it'll be all the way towards the later stages. And even the last week, we could see still being within a game's reach of getting the first place. I mean, if Na'Vi here, we're talking 19 points difference right now. And if Na'Vi have a bad game, get a 0 points or 1 point, Liquid have a 14-kill chicken as they has before, and they are jumping into the first spot easily. So it's going to be extremely close all the way through.
Sure. I want to shift gears here just for a moment before we do get into our first game off Miramar here. Based on what you saw yesterday from Winstrike, it was definitely their day. Coming into today, what did you, Martin, extrapolate from taking a look back at Winstrike, how they were able to play yesterday? Can they apply it to today? Brief thoughts?
I hope they can. I don't think they're going to be able to step up and continue how fast they're going to be able to push it and how aggressive they need to play, I feel like.
Okay.
And also they need to learn how to close down the games, because even though they got 2 wins yesterday, they need to play the end game better.
And they could have had even more frogs. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time. It's going to be game number 65. It's week 6. It's day 2. It's PEL Phase 2. We're going to head over to Pansy and Sims for all of the action.
Thank you very much, and indeed, Winstrike will be a huge focus for us today. After yesterday's games, they are certainly on our radar. I know a lot of the Finns out there are happy to have a team after ENCE kind of dipped away from the spotlight, and we were having a chat with the coach, kind of catching up with them, finding out, what really worked for them. And you're saying, Tixu's kind of taking over that late game IGL role. So that's a really interesting concept. And it takes time to feel comfortable. It happened a while ago, but you can see that comfort falling into place. And I'm glad that Froz on the desk said maybe they don't seem so consistent yet, or they still need to work on that late game. I think we might just start seeing that maybe coming to the forefront here.
I mean, when you've got someone who's a very powerful fragger who can take close combat scenarios like that, having him lead the charge in those scenarios is going to be a key point. And again, I think the most important point out of all of that is going away and finding the problems. This is what you need to do. If there are issues that needs to be fixed, now is the time to do it. It's going to be crunch time, and the numbers, there's only so many points you can get, and everyone else is going to be vying for them as well.
Exactly, and I think the bigger picture for me, so let's talk overall, right? From this season, Tixu was 7th in kills out of everyone. So he's doing fine. Everyone else on his team was 47th or 38th. So they weren't quite on the same par. Now you look at this week alone, Temi and Jorski are up in 4th and 6th. Tixu, I think, is within the top 10. And this is a great circle for them. So you can see maybe that little bit of an adjustment in playstyle has certainly brought their fragging power up to the same sort of caliber. Now, we'll see if it's consistent. That will always be the big factor for us is, one good day is something, having a good week gets you potentially a lot more spots.
I think there's a personal confidence side to this as well. This is a totally different environment for some of these guys.
Yeah.
Been up on a main stage. In their personalities and their camera presence, we all know, we've all started on camera at some point. We've all been up there in the first time completely crapping ourselves in front of a cam and a mic.
Yeah.
But you can see it in their own personal repertoire, how they're performing in front of these cameras. They're being more confident in themselves and they're starting to blossom. And this only translates to a LAN environment. When you get used to your surroundings, when you've been pulled out of your bedroom that you've been sat there for the last 5 years just playing in front of your computer on your own as a keyboard warrior, you have to change your mindset. It's a totally different environment altogether. And it's a big jump up. Some of these guys may have not been to LAN before, and now they're literally playing in a LAN league every single week.
Yeah, you can imagine there's going to be, a couple of teething problems. By now, I think we have to kind of just start putting our foot down, being like, well, there you go. You've had your time to perform. Let's look at this circle. I know it's brand new to all of us, guys. We've never seen a circle here before. Please, chat, contain yourselves. We're all, dying to see where this one goes. It is out in the west. Who'd have thunk it? FaZe laughing, Winstrike laughing. Any team who's kind of currently in that circle gets that little bit of a step ahead. Always, you love to see it. The vast majority of the teams, however, get screwed.
This is where we saw a lot of teams die, yes. Unless DA like to go a little bit deeper and maybe force that engagement, force them to... We saw yesterday a little bit from... Go on, James. The early advancement and the early aggression, there are certain scenarios where that will work and you have to weigh up the costs, and there has to be a certain part of, what's going to be happening. You have to work your mind in forward of the enemy, okay? Yeah. We can do this because we're allowed to. So it'll be a dangerous maneuver. I don't think DA really need to, given their position.
And they do like a passive game, DA, if I'm honest. I think it's stylistically theirs. This is a survival game at its core. And love it or hate it, that is the case. And they do play a passive game. They were trying to do that send it central in the first couple of weeks. It's kind of lost that surprise element now. We'll see what they come up with. I'm glad we looked at Raise Your Edge there. They're a team that were kind of closing in towards that TSM spot. They were starting to push pretty hard. Yesterday's games were a bit of a dip, if I'm honest, performance-wise. We'll see if it continues. If that becomes a trend, then it becomes an issue. For now, it's just a bad day. Hopefully, they can resolve it, but this circle doesn't help them. They are as far out as it can kind of get at this point. NIP might be in danger, and they are. Reels is loving that. Can't overstay his welcome, because you just seen on the old screen there, MBS has pulled up, and that's an old SLAR in his hands. That's not going to be too pleasant if Reels gets ahead of himself. Uh-oh. Oh, Reels. Reels is in danger. Reels is in real trouble. He's got to move. He's going to put on a show. He doesn't. He gets dinked up, put down, and that's what you get for being greedy.
I'm really surprised at that. Overstepping your boundaries there, Sunshine. You've got to be aware there's always going to be a second player lurking.
Maybe he thought he was a scout. Maybe he just thought he was able to catch one off.
Quite clever for them to wait and hold on the gunshots from MBS and just sit back and not overpeak or do anything, actually bait him into it. So fair play for that one. Liquid.
He wanted the loot. He get no loot.
He get death. He give an unbox.
Yeah, let's have a look where people go to. I want to see where the high priority spots to these guys are. So I want to look at the likes of Teams Liquid, who will seem to always prioritize getting very good compounds early on.
Hill, just
they do love a bit of it.
Or below it, which is
FaZe
where you're looking on the map.
Also had the ability to kind of pick where they'd like to go, because obviously they started in Montevideo. They have the pick of the litter. Same with Winstrike. Winstrike are a little slower coming out of Pozo though, so they're not going to be able to just dive in. You'd have to scale, you have to take your time, you have to be smart. Liquid have gone for this sort of spot. Yeah, again, it's not the first time we've seen them here. It probably won't be the last. And this is Winstrike. Now they've got the Knights not too far off. Now they've played this ridgeline before. And so have the Knights. They should be aware of this. There should be that mental game where these circles, these positions. That contact on Znark clearly has been remembered. That nade, if only it trickled over, that would be a confirmed kill. Tixu does not want to overstay his welcome. Doesn't want to risk it. It seems like he wants to back away.
I see all these little encounters along the way. It will be a bit of a dense circle, given the fact we're losing about 10 to 20% of the circle to that cliff face. Just to touch on what FaZe have done, rather than go deeper in the circle, and they were center, they were literally center. They've actually gone to the west, so they're setting up against the wall. There's an added bonus to this. One, you're going to catch people on rotation. That main road is theirs now. They are the bouncers. They dominate. Anyone goes past there is going to lose their life because they have set up an entrapment, so there's a bottleneck. One player either side of the road in the form of ENCE and Mexi. The other and the better part of it, it gets harder late game, and you'd expect them to move away from this, especially as the circle and the wall will force them into it. But nobody can get behind them now. The only thing that's behind them is that wall. So they've basically denied a good percentage of the map that they have to worry about. No,
and I'm on board with you there. I think the next thing in my mind is if this circle goes south, and it looks like a lot of the teams are kind of from central to southern side, which is pretty common. That little, I guess, slice of the map where FaZe take over, that ridgeline, that hill, is your prime territory. So maybe they're planning for that. Team Liquid are going 2-2 just in case. They split off GMT to the other side. TSM have found their compound. Rory showing off those driving skills. Beautifully done, Rory. We'll have a look to see where the pressure really comes in towards G2. Long swing up north, not surprising. Na'Vi shifting down the western road. We saw this before. They did clash with them 19 over that side, but it's FaZe currently residing there. That could be an early engagement, potentially, and two very big teams chipping away at each other. So this will be a fun one. I do worry about that FaZe Na'Vi battle, because it's that mutually assured destruction of both sides. You don't want to lose out on players early. You want to keep those 4 alive, but you're all wanting that territory.
And Na'Vi will be able to go no further, just for the simple fact of how many people they've split across that from FaZe Clan. There's really no way to get behind them. Both sides of the road will be controlled. CrowCrowd will also be getting involved in this one. They are just further to the south of the battle that I'm talking about. You can see FaZe in the distance, so they have to be careful because there's only a few compounds round about where they are now. If they go much deeper, I'd see 'll have an eye line on it.
I do worry that FaZe are this spread apart, though. Like, I get it for territory sake. I understand taking over compounds is very important, but we've seen so many teams now more than willing to crash. If they, because teams will scout properly these days. If they see one player and it's worth going for, they will just crash.
Well, this scenario right here is where it has to pay off. You have to be picking up these priority kills that do come your way. Really good coverage there from a player on CrowCrowd to allow Senpai to pull back, and Mexi don't get a chance
is
to
getting out of there. I like that. I'm
step
glad.
out. Yeah, because he'll have been given the warning. Mexi's like, okay, then let's not get too,
Yep.
and basically what you just mentioned, let's not get too far spread and take too much of the land here.
I'm happy seeing that. That's
Being greedy can, as you just saw with Reels, it can pay.
It's almost like these teams know where these circles go nowadays.
So she shifts away from the wall. Monte Nuevo just teetering in the north. And you know what? DA have actually moved into where Liquid was. Now, Liquid may still play a 2-2 game to keep a bigger percentage of ground coverage. It's going to be hard because they have two
I don't know if you can these.
That's a
Na'Vi
really
crashing towards
high
FaZe?
priority area.
Where is a doozy going?
I think he was just trying to cross the road, and it looks like I'd maybe try and just barricade it.
No, I don't know where a doozy's going. Senya's been able to good trade back from Senya, but this is really, really scary. Na'Vi are very far away from this. I think a doozy's kind of lost here, if I'm honest. That's not revivable territory in my eyes, especially with FaZe in this 2-2. I'm sure Mexi can get a pick up there once the smokes really start to plume and is a safe revive. Bestelot has closed in. We are seeing Miraku and NIP very close by towards Liquid in that 2-2. I think teams will be punished for these 2-2 splits. Now we'll find out. I think that VOD is very much aware of this. These are awkward angles to play with, though. You might be able to hear it, but I don't think you get those shots. Jeems is showing, though. VOD's got the spot, and Jeems is unaware. Fuzzface found a doozy. That's fine. That was already the knock that came in. And this nade could be big. It's VOD. Of course it's VOD.
That lands.
That is dangerous. That's go. Oh, how is that not a double? Oh, the follow-up from Miraku. That is huge. NIP got all the information, and 2-2 splits don't necessarily work like they used to anymore. You've got to be so prepared, so aware, because teams will flood it these days.
MBS is the bait there. Unfortunately, Liquid tunnel visioning onto one player individually, which allows him to throw the grenade in, picks off 2 of them. And we mentioned it coming into this. When you have a circle like that, that is 2 priority compounds. I get it when the smaller ground coverage that you want to hold down, little tiny shacks, maybe a garage or 2, splitting 2 players between them, yeah, it's fine. But huge open ground like that for 2 players to cover, full teams rocks up, and unfortunately you'll be checking out. Crit does come in, Pokemon will be able to check this and wonder what he gets. If it's a sniper, we're all in danger.
249?
Is it 249?
Yep.
It is. There we are. Unfortunately, not the sand killie that we wanted, but still, the green will do if we can find some kind of bush cover or cacti or something like that. I mean, you always want the sand one, don't you? If you just lay down, no one can see you. It's pretty disgusting.
It's nasty. Let's have a look, though. Let's see where teams currently are, because TSM very split up as well. Vitality holding the northeast. They're in a good spot. Let's start on the east, because we haven't seen, actually, CrowCrowd, tell a lie. They've actually not got a bad spot out of this one. They've kind of worked off the back of FaZe. They fell away from this. Now they could get a bit of trouble from M19, but...
No red dot?
Yeah, 0 dot on that. And look at his loot. No meds, really. He's got the big kit and some bandages, but
nade.
yeah, it looks like their loot was very poor here.
Questionable. Another questionable player might be from Wanted there. Steps out. Maybe they didn't have the information that NIP was lurking in here. Well, he's doing something, but it could be in danger. Doesn't hold. Doesn't shoulder peek just quick enough. MBS holds the angle on the stairwell. I don't know if they were pushing in, again, without the information here. I think they've gone too deep and not realized that NIP, it's a weird place and a weird location to be keeping these front 2 buildings. I mean, the reason they're doing it is to give them an exit point. If this circle shifts regardless, they are central, but you'd rather be on the edge of a main road so you've got somewhere to go forward rather than sitting up against the blue. It's a strange one, and you wouldn't, to be fair to them, you wouldn't have expected a whole team to be rocking there.
Okay.
So now maybe off the back of that, they work down the road along these little compounds. They are a bit broken, the ones that's next to them on the left-hand side, because there's only 2 rooms you can really sit in, and any one grenade is going to flush you into the open. But still, the Knights getting a bit of a hard one here. That's 2 players gone.
Where are Winstrike off to? Look at Nookie.
I think they'll have to fight for G2 unless G2
Yeah, I was about to say, I think G2 are going by foot, or at least Udir was. I think came behind him, might have a vehicle, but I think Winstrike might have just beaten them there. Tixu and Temi are on the way. They're going to try and support, make sure this compound is theirs, and maybe feeling it's a high priority one. We want to all go towards this. Deny G2 getting close. That's not a bad shout. But look at Monte Nuevo right now. If you have the map stream open, just keep a tab on that, because you've got a lot of teams just gravitating around it. FaZe getting quite close by. You've got NIP still there. Vitality have now shifted in towards Monte Nuevo. Reciprocity going on the swing north. You do have G2 on those hillsides keeping track of Winstrike, but it's Na'Vi, CrowCrowd, M19, DA. You've even got Raise Your Edge now working in on the southern side with ENCE. That southern side is going to get very busy.
If we do dive into a fight, we can cut from this, but I just want to bring it up, Lauren. I feel like ENCE are just playing so slow and so passive at the moment. And this is why they're doing so badly in the table. It's just not the aggression that we saw from phase number 1. Like, okay, maybe we saw now and again creeping and peeping along some of the latter circles, but to be this late in the game, you're turning up to a very condensed area. And how you breach these into these circles. I mean, they are breaching themselves. Talk about compound breaches. Trying to get into this when there's literally, what, 1, 2, 3, 6 teams directly in front of them? How many times have we seen so far this phase ENCE turn up and all be dead just in one swipe?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I mean, it can work. We've seen G2 play Edge Circle very, very diligently. But it feels like they have that good balance switch.
But they get into it early and then play it.
Exactly. They'll take their time, but you look at this point, they went for that northern side, which was always going to be light on players. They took their time, they scouted during those last couple of phases, and now they found a home. And they've got really big amounts of territory. Sure, they might run into Reciprocity, which they have before, because they also do the same thing. They'll take those long rotation routes. But ENCE at the moment are going by foot, and CrowCrowd can gatekeep. Raise Your Edge can probably see that across the way. There's a lot going on here, and it worries me. As you said, it's not the aggressive Finnish side that we once knew.
However, the one good thing going for them is that they might meet CrowCrowd in the usual CrowCrowd position, which is 4 players very sparsely spread. Me and Lee were talking about this last week, how we'll see them with a 4-man stack, but they're certainly not close together. If one of them goes down, you're just revealing yourself if you want to go for the revive. The tab is set off from the rest of them. Even Kemba's a decent, if Kemba gets knocked, it's going to be a bit of a mad dash from any of the players to go and get a res on him. And again, as Lauren does keep mentioning, we are casting off the map screen, so make sure you guys have got the stream up in the background so you can follow what we're saying. Circle. She goes to the north, and this is actually gone really well for Vitality. The pull-up on the backside of Nuevo has gone well, and we spoke about this. The oncoming fight that could potentially happen, Kemba has found Trefeli.
Yeah, we aren't surprised that ENCE are being gate-kept. We'll hopefully get that sound back up for you. There we go. But yeah, ENCE, they were never in a good position.
This could be really good nade.
Yeah, this could be an excellent nade. 2 knocks, that could be just swept aside instantly. Weird bounces on these hills, but they will eventually get there. CrowCrowd are pulling up now. ENCE are down to 2, and it looks like they're running out of time and options. Good tag coming in, but his FaZe in the background might try and help them out, but set, tab, all combined, and it's all going wrong for the Finns. And you got to feel for them in a way, but they are their own biggest enemy at this point. They haven't been able to convert any of those situations that look good for them, and this was one of the situations that didn't, if I'm honest.
First gets involved in the back lines. Wants to try and mop up a few players that are left. ENCE picks up Squeaky as well, so 2 of them are stolen just like that with the battle that was going on. CrowCrowd now...
Cool, Raise Your Edge going to Monte Nuevo.
I mean, I think they have to. There's
They've
nowhere
made
else
it as
for them
well.
to really go.
That's pretty good going. They made it this far. Yeah, of course. But now look at the issues for Team Liquid. Again, they split up Samty and Ibby, splitting themselves up here. Maybe looking for the next sort of position to go to. And TSM had full numbers over there. This is a big rotation route. DA sending it right towards VOD, and VOD nips out the way, avoids it, comes back in, gets some points in the pocket. He's done lovely out of that.
Says thank you very much. Doesn't want to give an over, and that's absolutely fine by me. 3 point as well.
Oh, DA. Oh, God,
MBS.
Iro. Oh, no. That's not great. And the car continues.
It's giving him cover at least.
No, yeah, indeed. The Clown Fiesta continues. Boop.
CrowCrowd out of the frying pan. Into the fire we go. Now V.
1 man made it.
Bestelotch does at least get 2 knocks. Pokemon then just mops up with the huge broom that is a 249. And again, that came off the back of, all right, they did take a fight. Picked up 2 points against ENCE. That's fine by me. They committed to the cause. but playing Edge has not gone their way. They've arrived late game. They've turned up to a huge amount of teams that are already sat here. Raise your Edge, how the hell they've managed this, I do not know.
No idea. They were ahead of everyone else doing it, I guess. There is that.
They set off the second ENCE engaged,
yeah, exactly.
which is quite
so they
clever.
just kind of skipped ahead of all the other teams trying to do the same. But just let's look at the circle for a second as well. And yeah, there goes Liquid. I mean, it was whoever gets the angle, and that was going to be it's Winstrike finding it. But Unity were there, TSM were there, Vitality all could have had a glimpse. When the circle potentially moves away from this town, that is going to be scary. Now, might actually just get caught up there. NIP is still holding these buildings. Gives them really nice line of sight down here. Raise your Edge just going to have to dig their heels in. They're at the mercy of the circle for now. I have to say, out of everyone, FaZe and Vitality probably in a very good position to try and play out of this. They can gatekeep maybe 2 or 3 teams. But then again, everyone else will be looking their way when it happens.
MBS's position on that one, we go back to it. It's pretty disgusting. Gustav laying down the mortar strikes. Wookie will follow up as well.
7
so they might be
nades
able
left.
They've all just got them in hand. They're ready to go for it. Vard onto Tizrin. Where's that? That's all the way across from the opposing side. So getting involved as well. Winstrike still in the background. Onto D8. TSM. Good side, bad side. Good side B. No one's behind them, and they've got a bit of a ditch to work with. Bad side. And as soon as this circle moves, they've got to go through open water. Oh my God, they don't. Curse of the caster.
Wow.
If I've ever done one, they've just been given that side of the circle, and now they do not have to run the hillside.
I'm wondering what happens to Na'Vi and Reciprocity in this. Reciprocity instantly in the vehicles. Rage are pushing up. They're going for this, but look at the damage coming towards Menox. He's a beacon for all of these nades. They're just finding him. Fast Rail, Sigsy, Breach. They're going to try and work their way forward. NIP, layer by layer, have fallen back. Just Miraku holding the angle. Vard falls off. MBS
is the
holding the line, but the smoke's keeping them safe for now. That's still plumed up, allowing the likes of Miraku to fall back. Give him a couple of seconds here.
MBS is the problem. He's been sat with this SLR for quite some time. Trying to deny any form of advancement on the front side of these houses, if you even want to call them houses. They've got 2 rooms in a piece, and there's nothing much left of them in the back.
She's gone down in the blue.
Under.
What's happened?
I think that was just blue damage at this level, I suppose. Unless he fell off the back of a bike.
Yeah, and now you're going to see TSM working their way around towards it. Winstrike already have a bit of vision on it. You might see that in the kill feed.
There we go.
It's MBS. There is that SLR. We said it was going to come in. He still hold the angle, but he can't hold it for too long. And if you make mistakes, because he's in this kind of like full committed spot, right? Like it's a filthy angle, but it's a dangerous one because he doesn't have an instant fallback plan. He's still taking 1-for-1 fights, and it's the backlines that catch him off. Wanderers found that. Surely Razor Edge have seen that in the kill feed. Once this revive comes in, they've got to make their minds up. Do we push this? Do we not? What do we do about this?
They really have to take him out there.
Oh, why are they all peeking in front of each other?
Oh my God, they just picked up 2. Vard. He just run at them with the AKM. What the hell? So that's an overpeak to basically just bodyguarding the smoke. So look, that grenade's from nowhere. That's across the road.
Nasus! Oh, NIP are just getting done from other spots. That's so frustrating. Razor Edge, I've got to say, them peeking into each other's line of sight is just sloppy play. They have to. They've seen it not coming in the kill feed. It's go time. They need to take this over just for peace of mind. Otherwise, they're going to constantly be worried about it. Let's see how they approach this, because that was miscommunication, poor positioning, if I'm honest. Na'Vi about to breach towards DA. It looks like actually G2 FaZe finding some of the Na'Vi boys, so that's going to be a bit of an issue for them. And these peaks coming out from Sigsy, Fast Roll, and Chris, they're going to kill each other at this rate. Flashbang in the hand, peak comes out, and it's whiffed.
The only thing NIP have going for them is the fact that Razor Edge do not know which buildings they are spread between.
Yep.
So they're going to have to check every single corner, and they have to go towards NIP. They're going to hold A for now, depending on what the circle does next. It's been kind to them so far, and quite a lot of these teams over a Montenegro side. But yeah, Vard was holding a really good position, and then banger of a shot from behind. M19 are still lingering behind these 2 teams, even one member of CrowCrowd. But now it gets to a point, Lauren, where we're playing bleed-out games. They've been knocked so many times, eventually, you're just going to have to... You won't have time to commit to the res each and every single time.
Look at this. Just don't peek it. Stop peeking the angle. Like, your shoulder peaks are getting battered.
They're going to be lacking gear, right?
One tapped. Yeah, his helmet's off. That was a nasty little tap there.
So they've been lacking utility, lacking gear, lacking meds, and a copious amount of knocks between them. Miraku and Vard are going to have a field day, especially with that AKM up front and personal with 7.62. Like, they're going to be laughing.
Honestly, the best thing they can do right now if you're Razor Edge is go for trade, literally, except that one of you might die for this.
They've smoked NIP, so you'd expect maybe they make a push behind the smoke.
Maybe. They have to make a plan. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, you've got so many layers to get past. TSM is sending it right now. If you hear those shots in the background, that's TSM trying to get central, and it's worked out. They haven't been picked up yet. They've got a lot of attention on them, but it's not going too badly. Oh god, these flashes. Razor Edge are so screwed right now. They need to be decisive. They're just being worked down. Every bit of damage coming forward.
Oh,
TSM are in the middle of a field with all eyes on them. M19 being engaged upon from FaZe, but there's an answer from the Knights. That's over in the more northern side of this. G2 just turned up on Na'Vi. That's a big fight going down. G2 have won it as well. Senya, Best Lodge all get wiped aside. As soon as those kills come in, that pressure coming out, I see that MK on Brexco. That's a scary prospect. And that is still a big jump here. They prioritize that heavily, knowing this new circle is rough. Any of the teams who are towards the north are now kind of screwed. And Winstrike didn't move during this, so now they're going to have to fight uphill. Look at Drayden's angle. That's nice. It's a good tag towards Fuzz, but where's the follow-up? Season 8 needs to move. Drayden, you got to get out of there. But there goes Razor Edge. Really good trade so far. They need to trade effectively, and they have done. Sigsy on towards VOD. Sigsy did really well there, and he continues to do well. That's very good play. Effective trading, and they should be able to clear this out if they play it right.
They got it done. NIP are down and dusted. So a good effort there from Razor Edge, pushing as a unit and pushing as a team. Gets the job done. They can now take control of this and figure out their next maneuver. Hopefully NIP have at least got some kind of gear to then get themselves back on their feet, because they are very heavily damaged. They committed so much to those fights. Their gear is going to be completely and utterly torn apart. Rory goes down. I think that's still in the field. Oh god, TSM, this is such a brutal place to be.
And look, Winstrike are having to do the exact same thing. To be fair to TSM, they took the initiative early, which I have to respect, but they're being kept alive by smokes and the idea that maybe Tixu just doesn't want to mess with them right now. And G2 are looking towards... Oh my god, how are they alive? How are they alive? Winstrike! They've made it right next to them. Haxedi and Rafi are just across the way. You saw those nades coming out. That could be nade distance. Look at this. This is, yeah, that is nade distance. Tixu and the boys, they know they need to get rid of TSM here. They're the biggest hurdle right in front of them. And this is just terrifying. Those nades just going too far. TSM need to be on alert. We've missed it, but it was Tixu going down. Nice work from Wookie to expect the peak. But can they now play off the back of it? This is so dangerous, these fields. Oh, those nades. Michael, you've got to be careful. Rory.
He's forcing him into him.
Oh, Rory's so damaged, but it is going to be the help out from G2.
Comes in at range and knocks two. Does damage across both sides. Wookie had the right idea to try and force Winstrike into the grenade distance. But we do see these shots coming in again. It's just a third-party galore at the moment. For the simple fact of the circle, the whole backside of it, apart from Vitality, everything is just open field work. Don't forget, with G2, they took out Na'Vi, so they're going to take control of that 249 as well. Light machine gun to Mark 14. Still, the grenades keep on continuing. TSM holding on for dear life, and the same goes to Winstrike. A ditch and nothing else to work with. Fuzzface, nothing to work with at all. He goes down from the mini at distance. Constantine, I think that's still from the backside. Yes, it is, of Montenuevo. The rest of M19 will eventually have to go. They've just been sat there the entire time. And now they're out of the circle. Rory has to take this battle. Last grenade in the tank. They're making a move on this. It's overshot, and they've got...
Tixu,
they have to push it. They have to.
This is nice, but look at the third party coming in. Rafi's there, dying to get involved in it. It's a good idea from Winstrike, but it's gone poorly. They can't make it happen. TSM does go down in the meantime, and Temi is still alive. Just about. FaZe are being pressured as well. They've been eliminated. This circle is brutal, if I'm completely honest. Any of these teams who weren't Vitality have just been screwed, no matter how you want to cut it. G2 went for the field player. Now they're being cut to size. Nothing they can be doing. It looks like a revive's going to come out, maybe, if Teme can just get the lay of the land for a second. But this is just horrible. Vitality are the king of the castle, and all the peasants around them are just dying in the fields.
G2 now, time to make the stand. Brexico could just rock up to this. I mean, whoever's got that 249 is going to shred either Rec or Winstrike. They're pre-smoking as well. They're literally pre-smoking this and setting up. They brought the vehicle, which gives them a good amount of cover here. Especially when there's nothing at all to work with. Having that Mirado just to be able to pull up and take it out. And they're going to get split between two ranks. Rapid comes in with one, G2 with the other. Job done. Bye-bye, Winstrike.
Yeah, honestly, I can't blame any of the teams who played North in this. There's no other options. You do have the Razor Edge battle coming towards the front. Chris just going off for Reciprocity. They have been done, and G2 holding on as best they can. They are so brutal at this. This is the trenches over here, and G2 are still standing. That is very impressive, because look at this cover. There's nothing. It's literally a tiny ditch. It's all they have to keep them safe from Unity right now. Razor Edge have held on as well. They are, I don't know how quickly they're going to bleed out if they get knocked. And again, Vitality continue to have circle. I'd be very surprised if Razor Edge make it past Vitality. This push would have to, look how they're alive.
Wow.
This is the life they're currently living.
Please give me all your stims. My feet are currently hot with a blue zone. And once they're out of there, Vitality's just going to mow them down. It would take an absolute world of a shot Nasus could probably still keep pinging these grenades if he's... You wouldn't have expected him to commit a lot of gear. They've not been in many fights, have they? They've just been overwatching all
they're
of this.
fine. I think, for me, it's like you look at G2 with the scrappers, heavyweights, they've been taking fight, and somehow they survived in the north.
Shadow got 3!
What?
You could see him cooking it. I watched him. He clipped it, and that... Oh my god, because they're all banked up.
Oh my god, he might get all of them, Chris. Oh, he's going to have to go for the revive. This is horrible stuff. And here comes the blue. What a nade and a half. There it is.
Oh, it rolled.
God.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're going to die to the blue.
Help me.
Oh, raise your edge.
Chris.
This is...
Oh, no, he hit the pylon.
Oh, God,
no,
this is horrible. Oh, dear, not like this. Yeah, he goes down. A kindness from Shadow, but it's all his in that moment. Incredible play from him. G2 are still holding on. If you want to look at a team who has, grit and determination, it's G2 because they have against all the odds. Rexco did not expect that angle to be open, hoping maybe cover came in, and eventually it did. Chris trades back through, and Chris has 6 kills here. 7! Now, the fire comes back in, though, from Vitality, and they are down to 2 men. And we know the sound issue, do not worry. Vitality still hold all the cards here.
For Unity, that's a big scalp to claim, for the simple fact that Brexico could have held them back and stopped any maneuverability towards the circle. Unfortunately, by trading them off, they've given the information to Vitality exactly where they are. Kaint does splay through the smoke, but doesn't catch anything. For Vitality now, it's just a matter of pick your poison. Where do you want to go first? Provided they don't tunnel visual too hard onto Unity, they need someone to keep a tab on G2. If G2 get front and center and into a really strong position, then they could be in trouble.
How are they... Like, what gear did G2 have left? They've been in a million fights. They must have, like, no vest, no nothing. Gas station's on the move. That should alert Vitality. This could be problems. No, NASA's focused towards G2. That's Kaint going down. Unity are at the door, though. Unity are coming knocking, and so is Chris. He gets down Nasus. Oh, Chris is an absolute animal right now. He knows where the next is. Oh, my God, Chris. This guy's an animal.
He's unstoppable.
He might get found. Shadow peeks it. Chris now backs down. He's so close to center circle. Chris is the last man standing here. He finally falls. But what a play he made.
Absolutely fantastic. The man is a monster. How he controls his spray with the ARs is just disgusting. They do have to... Oh, my God, that's one. The second one's around the corner. Goes for the point, but doesn't make it happen. Vitality do, though. They get a win. First game of the day here on Saturday. And that's a nice, cheeky way to start it. Granted, the circle was very kind to them, but they certainly stood their ground towards the latter stages, and an absolute banger of a grenade from Shadow onto Raise Your Edge. It sets the powder keg on fire, and everyone else just crumbles beneath them.
Yeah, I think as much as, yes, the circle was good for Vitality, I'm not going to take away the fact that they were one of the later teams towards Monte Nuevo. There were other teams in there. They opted to take one of the side areas, the kind of less ideal, I guess, spots, but it paid dividends down